Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. In this video, we would like to shed light on the topic given by our lecturer, Sir Muhammad Riza bin Ismail, about a laytime calculation. We will present how to calculate a laytime calculation according to the question given to us.
Okay, the meaning of laytime is the time allotted to charterer for loading or unloading. Within the specific time, charterers are required to load and unload the goods at the free time specific in the charter party. If the ship does not complete the work within the allowed time, and the ship has to stay in the port longer, and the ship owner will be charged a demurrage. The start of the rest period is usually a certain time after the ship his notice of readiness nor has been reported by the captain. This nor should be deemed valid if the ship arrives at the agreed destination within the period agreed upon by parties and is ready for the loading in all respect. Based on the question, MV your ship arrived at the Buenos Aires roads on Monday 3rd March and on Monday 3rd. Based on question, MV your ship arrived at the Buenos Aires roads on Monday 3rd March at 3 p.m. and retrieved the north beach at 5 p.m. on Monday 3rd March. But they loaded at 6 a.m. on Tuesday 4 March was started. This is because note is usually given during a normal working hours and thus advertised outside of the established charter period. The rest period can then be defined the terms of working day, exclude Sunday and a public holiday, or whether working day exclude additional day when the policeman weather prevent operation.
Okay, for the example, there are no local, national or international holiday during this period. As stated in the question, port operation will operate 24 hours within rain on Sunday at March 9 from 10 to 12 and 14 to 16. Finally, the break will only start when the three conditions are met. First, the vessel is classified as an arrival vessel under the charter party provisions. And secondly, the ship is ready for loading and unloading in every respect. And lastly, a notice of readiness was sent to the lease or his representative in accordance with the charter agreement.
Next is the factors laytime does not count. Laytime usually begins incontinuously until either cargo activities are finished or expired. Exceptions are used to exclude times that would otherwise fall under the concept of laytime but are nonetheless covered by the exception clause. The laytime that does not count because it does not fall under the laytime definition as stated in the laytime clause is referred to as an interruption to laytime. Several factors cause laytime not to count. Most commonly, the exception of laytime are weather condition, weekends or holidays, provision for laytime that is exceeded, and demurrage or damage for retainers to be paid. Based on the statement given, the MV ship arrived at Buenos Aires road at 1500 hours on 3 March Monday with a cargo load of 20,000 metric tons. Notices of readiness and OR given to MV ship after the ship is ready to load cargo. The port loaded the vessel 24 hours per day. However, throughout the period of loading cargo, ship on the weekend after 1700 hours Friday or the preceding a holiday to 0800 hours Monday or the next working day, not to count unless used. Therefore, the words unless used are typically appended to the exception if work is done within an excluded period and the parties want that time to count. This additional sentence has the effect of counting the entire day as a non-accepted day during which laytime continues to run if any time is used on a day that will otherwise be exempt. If the work are not added, then the party must have made some other arrangement after the fact if the time employed is to be considered at time. Next, throughout the cargo loading period, rain occurred and caused the ship to stop loading cargo and caused lead time not to count. The cargo loading period was stopped due to the rainy weather factor that occurred. However, the lead time does not count when weather conditions hinder loading and or unloading, nor does it count when inclement weather happens during a working day.
Charter party clauses. A charter party is a document of contract by which a ship owner agrees to lease and the charterer agrees to hire a vessel or of the cargo space or a part of it on terms and conditions found in the charter party. If permitted to do so by the terms of charter party, the charterer may enter into subcontracts with other shippers. There are three types of charter parties, which are bareboat charter party, time charter party, and voyage charter party. For bareboat charter party, a bareboat charter party known as the charter party. The charterer pay hire to the ship owner and take over responsibilities to manage the vessels, provide the equipment and supplies. For time charter party, a time charter party is a contract between a ship owner and a charterer for the hire of a named ship for an agreed period of time. For voyage charter party, a voyage charter party is a contract by which a ship owner allows the charterer to make use of a vessel for one or several voyages. There are 6 examples of typical clauses in charter party, which are ship clause, bunker clause, ice clause, negligence clause, ready berth clause, and lastly, liability clause.
Laytime is a period of time granted by the ship owner to the charterer or shipper to load or discharge cargo. The laytime calculation also serves as evidence in the event of a dispute that must be resolved through arbitration or in court. It should be noted that laytime can be fixed or calculated using the rate of loading and or discharging. So here is the step 1, is how to calculate the time allowed. So this is the example of MV your ship time allowed calculation. First of all, MV your ship's laytime allowed calculated by the total amount of cargo loaded, which is 20,000 tons, divided by loading or discharging rate, which is 5,000 tons. So we will get the total time allowed for the MV your ship. So the total time allowed for the MV your ship is 4 days. Laytime is the time permitted in a contract for loading and discharging the voyage charter ship. If this permitted laytime is exceeded, the ship owner or ship operator of the ship will be entitled to damages. So here is the example of the table shown all the hours counted. So first, we should add up all the hours counted in the table above. For example, we should add up 17 hours plus 15 hours plus 7 hours plus 24 hours plus 12 hours plus 3 hours plus 3.5 plus 12 plus 5 plus 1 plus 4 plus 4 plus 16 plus 24 plus 19. And we will get the total hours is equal to 166.5 hours. So the 166.5 hours, we should convert the hours to days, which is 166.5 hours must be divided by 24 hours, which is equals to 6.9375 days. So we should get the remaining days convert to hours, and 0.9375 days will be multiplied by 24 hours to get the hours is equal to 22.5 hours, and the remaining 0.5 hours will be multiplied by 60 minutes to get the minutes, and is equals to 30 minutes. And finally we will get the MV your ship time used is 6 days, 22 hours and 30 minutes.
Next, I'm going to talk about laytime. All the information here is what was given in the instruction given. So everything in the instruction is what we are going to apply here. So on Monday, 3rd of March, the vessel arrived on 15 hours. Also on Monday, 3rd of March, the notice of readiness has tendered on 17 hours. Therefore, there is no calculation on laytime because NOR has ended and accepted. Next, on Tuesday, 4th of March, they start to load on 7 hours. The laytime calculation that can we get is 3 hours. On Wednesday, 5th of March, the vessel is unable to load cargo on 1 hour to 23:59 hours due to the vessel having a technical issue and being unable to open cargo hatch. Therefore, the laytime calculation that we get is 24 hours. Continue in the next Thursday, 6th of March, they start working as usual since there is no problem, and the laytime calculation that we get is also 24 hours. On Friday, 7th of March, they start loading on 1 hour to 12 hours and laytime has been calculated is 12 hours. However, the vessel stopped loading at 12 hours to 19 hours due to the rain, so there is no laytime calculation. Right after the rain has stopped, they start loading on 14 hours to 17 hours and the laytime calculated is 3 hours. Then they continue loading on 70 hours to 59 hours. However, the laytime calculation that has been calculated is about 3.5 hours, half than the actual time. This is because in the instruction given explain that time from 17 hours starting from Monday of the day preceding a holiday to 8 hours Monday or a next working day not to be count unless used, but half of actual time used to count unless vessel is already on demurrage.
On the next day, Saturday, 8 March, they started working as usual and the laytime calculation is 12 hours, half of the 10 actual day since they are working on a preceding holiday. On Sunday, 9 March, they started working on a 1 hours to 10 hours and the laytime calculation is 5 hours. However, they stopped working due to the rain on a 10 hours to 12 hours and there is no laytime calculation. Right after the rain has stopped, they continue loading on a 12 hours to 14 hours and the laytime calculation is 1 hour. On 14 hours to 16 hours, they are stopping working due to the rain and continue working 4 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. and the laytime calculation is 4 hours. On Monday, 10 March, they started loading and on 1 hours to 8 hours and the estimated laytime calculation that we get is about 4 hours, half of the actual time. That is 8 hours because of the instruction explained the working hours that is less exceeding time on 8 hours Monday is still counted as a holiday. Therefore, on 8 hours to 12 hours, they started working as usual day and the lifetime calculation is 4 hours. And on Wednesday, 12 March, of the loading has a complete.
In the way of demurrage and dispatch calculations, the first step is we have to find the hours taken compared to the hours allowed. As stated, 4 days, 0 hours, 0 minutes are timed allowed, and time taken is 6 days, 22 hours, 30 minutes. As a result, time allowed minus time used is 2 days, 22 hours, and 30 minutes. This is enough to show the MV or ship is falls under demurrage. The demurrage will be counted from 2 days, 22 hours, and 30 minutes. Next, we have to determine the demurrage has to be paid by the charterer to the ship owner. So the demurrage rate 5,000 times 2 days equal to 10,000 US dollar. The remaining hours convert to minutes, which is 22 hours times 60 equal to 1,320 and 30 minutes. So equal for whole total minutes is 1,350 minutes. And the final step, which is demurrage pay in 1 day per day, is the total minutes 1,350 minutes times to 5,000 demurrage rate per day and divided by 1,440 minutes in 1 day. So equal to US dollar 4,687.5 the demurrage per day that the charter has to pay to ship owner.
We have detected that the ship in a demurrage. Demurrage means a charge payable to the owner of the charter vessel for a failure to load and discharge the vessel within the agreed time. Therefore, the charterer has to pay some money to the ship owner because the time they use is more than what is allowed. The reason for demurrage to the ship on this question is the ship has a technical problem and I cannot open the cargo hatch. This will cause problem for the ship to unload the cargo. The time taken is almost 2 hours starting from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Wednesday, 5 March.
In conclusion, laytime is a time given by the port authority in which loading and discharging activities need to be complete within a specific time frame. If loading and discharging activity can be complete, charterers are obligated to pay remuneration to cargo owner. There are a total of 6 relevant charter party clauses. A general purpose dry cargo trade charter contract will typically contain clauses that cover the fundamental provision listed below. The clauses might either be number clauses without name or clauses with distinct name in different charter party to express the provision. Laytime alone is 96 hours and the time schedule for the discharging and loading operation of MV Yoshid are within week from 3rd March to 12th March. Total time count after all the addition are 166.5, while the demurrage is 70.5 hours. To get the final answer for demurrage or dispatch, students are required to divide the 70.5 hours with 24 hours to get 2.9375. And lastly, multiply 2.9375 with 5,000 US dollar. As a result, the charterer must pay the ship owner an amount of 14,687.50 cents US dollar. Thank you. That's all from our group. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you.